Hi, I'm Brian Chase, Director of Digital Forensics here at Archer Hall. And today I'm going to talk to you about a case involving an Amazon Alexa device. This case, you might have heard of it. It made the news back in 2015. It involved a man named James Bates. He had his friends over to watch football, and the next morning he wakes up to find his friend, Victor Collins, dead in the hot tub. He calls 911. Police arrive and they begin to look around and investigate. And they're finding broken beer bottles, broken doorknobs. There's some blood spatter near the hot tub. So things look pretty suspicious. They ask the medical examiner for an opinion, and he rules the death a homicide. So the police get a warrant and they search the home. While searching the home, they seize an Amazon Echo. They write a warrant to Amazon saying that they have reason to believe that Amazon.com is in possession of records related to the homicide being investigated by the Bentonville Police Department. So if you're not familiar with the Amazon Echo, a little brief background on how it works. Most people have seen one at this point, but if you don't have one, you might not know all of the features. It connects to your home's Wi-Fi, and it listens for the wake word of Alexa. Now you can change that wake word. You can change it to a few other built-in options. You can't set your own. But what happens is you say, Alexa, tell me the weather. And then the device will listen. It will hear Alexa. It will hear the command, tell me the weather. And it will then tell you the weather. What happens is when you say that wake word, Amazon sends everything that follows to the Amazon.com servers. And they save that audio forever unless you go in and delete it. So what the Bentonville Police Department was looking for was if there was something recorded by that Amazon Echo in the home. Because if there was, Amazon would have been in possession of that audio recording. And if you have an Echo device, you can go into your Alexa app and go into your history, and you can see everything you've ever said to it, the text of it, and you can even go in and play and listen to everything you've ever said, because all of that audio is recorded. Amazon, however, fought the warrant in this case. They asserted a First Amendment protection, saying that police needed a higher standard to get the data. But in the end, Mr. Bates just agreed to release the data, and it turns out there was nothing there. There were no recordings from that evening. That's where the story kind of ended in a lot of the media. But there was more to this story. The police actually had more than just the Echo. There was a smart water meter installed at his home, and this water meter measured the water usage by the hour. Earlier in the evening, when the men were watching the football game, they never used more than 10 gallons of water an hour. But between the time of the suspected murder, they used 140 gallons of water between 1 and 3 a.m. That's a lot of water usage. And if you remember, Victor Collins was found dead in a hot tub. So the police theorized that maybe he had been killed in the hot tub, it had been drained and then refilled, or maybe they just used a lot of water to try to wash away the blood from the crime scene. So based on that, they ended up charging Mr. Bates with the murder. However, there was even more to this story involving an Internet of Things device that we call, in this case, they said it was a step counting app on his iPhone. Likely it was not. Now, I'm getting this from news sources. Likely what happened is he had something like an Apple Watch or a Fitbit that paired with his phone and counted his steps. And what the data showed is that once he went to bed that night, he did not get up again until the morning when that 911 call was made. So if it had just been a step counting app on his iPhone, like the news had reported, it wouldn't know the difference between him taking his phone out of his pocket and putting it on his nightstand and committing a murder versus him taking the phone out, putting it on his nightstand, and going to sleep. What likely happened is he was wearing a device, a wearable as we call them, such as a Fitbit or an Apple Watch, that not only tracked his steps, but also tracked things like his heart rate and whether or not he was asleep. And they looked at that data to see that he was in fact asleep at the time of the murder, just like he claimed. That's where this story ended. Mr. Bates was released. The charges against him were dropped. And it was a very unique sort of facts here. We've got started with an Amazon Echo, the first really at least publicized warrant for audio recordings from the Echo. It moved from there to a smart water meter, and then finally was resolved using data from a wearable device. It's a great illustration for why we should not rely solely on one piece of digital evidence to tell the full story of what happened. Digital evidence is just a component of the overall story, and often the digital evidence can be interpreted in many different ways. So it's important to look for as many sources of digital evidence as you can find and match them up with the story from witnesses, from other pieces of information, to try to get an accurate idea of what happened at any one time. If you have Internet of Things data, maybe an Amazon Echo or a Fitbit, and you need assistance in your case, please give us a call. We'd be happy to help you look at all of the sources of digital evidence and put them together to get you the full story of what happened in your case. Thanks for watching.